a world where toilet roll is scarce,
where people fight over baking powder and flour,
school is cancelled,
jobs don't exist anymore,
everyone's inside,
children are crying.
is it the apocalypse?
Is it Armageddon?
No, it's
coronavirus!
So it's not really news that the past 2 years have been kind of...
Yep, there is no other way to describe it. We're sorry, PG-13 viewers.
Yeah. But the world just went mad.
Oh, God, it really did. Do you remember the first, briefing, the government briefing?
Yeah, I mean, at that point I was at home, but beforehand, we were both at uni, weren't we?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I have to say I don't really follow the news that much when I'm at uni, but I just kept seeing these posters saying if you'd been to this country, you need to isolate.
Yeah, definitely. And especially because we both go to quite interracial
quite diverse.
universities. Yeah, diverse universities.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so who to avoid?
Yeah. I'd keep getting sort of updates from my parents, and then suddenly it was like, oh, the uni's shutting on Friday, and the Wednesday before I just went home.
Yeah. I think my last sort of days at university was the weekend literally before the Monday of lockdown.
Yeah.
And the university had put out a notice saying we're going to be shut from Monday.
Yeah.
We literally had our last fundraiser rugby match of the year that weekend. So we were quite lucky that we squeezed that one in because, to be fair, the university refused to give us kits and stuff because they were like, we can't be seen
Right.
not socially distancing and
Yeah.
whatnot. But that was before any rules had been brought in anyway.
I mean, everyone was in the club on the Monday night. I wasn't because I was busy.
Yeah, exactly.
But people were out, and then Wednesday we cancelled our social because, it was a bit dodgy. And suddenly I was home, and then the next Monday, that was it. We were in lockdown, we thought it'd last 6 weeks maybe?
Yeah, no, I'm fairly sure that's what they said actually.
Yeah.
It would not last more than 2 months or something like that. 3 months maybe. And then, now we're here a year and a half later.
Yeah, stuck in the... Hopefully getting better. Vaccines looking positive, but...
Yeah.
Still,
We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see, basically, where the future takes us.
Oh, God. I mean, at the end of the day, it's unfortunately just not going to go. We're going to have to get the jabs and learn to live with it, and it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's like any other flu, isn't it? Because it is a flu. It's a version of the flu.
Yeah.
And I mean, if we have to have flu jabs for our elderly every year...
I mean, I get a flu jab every year.
Exactly, because of your asthma, isn't it?
So, yeah.
So, I mean, if that's a regular thing, what makes coronavirus jabs, what makes that any different? We should be having them probably every year to make sure we don't have this reoccurrence of a global pandemic, essentially.
And if you... because I've had the flu jab and got the flu before, but hopefully with the COVID jabs, you either will avoid it or you will only get it very minimally
or mildly, yeah.
Oh gosh, that's a very minimally.
That's a good word.
Tongue twister. Yeah.
But yes, definitely.
It's mad.
So, I have a question for you.
Oh my God.
I know, more questions. So, what did you do to keep busy sort of in the first couple of months? Specifically where we were properly locked down. We couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's going to sound really weird, but it was... I think the adrenaline of not ever being in a situation like that, it was a bit like... Exciting is the wrong word because of, how bad it is, but it was a bit like, ooh, this has never happened before.
Yeah, definitely.
So the first sort of month was okay because I think we went for a walk with our dog every morning because you were allowed to do the one exercise a day.
1 hour of exercise a day. Yeah.
So we walked the dog and then kind of sat in the garden because it was quite nice weather, luckily.
Yeah. Actually, it was very nice weather. Yeah.
Zoom socials.
Yeah, fantastic.
That was, and then as it sort of dragged on and we realised that this is not getting any better. The return of the puzzles.
Oh, brilliant! Yes, nothing beats a puzzle.
Yeah.
But yes.
What did you do?
Not much.
No, I mean...
I suppose we both were finishing off university because everything university-wise moved online. So until about just after Easter, I was still doing all my university stuff. So I suppose that kept me busy.
Yeah.
And then I suppose, I don't know, just sort of playing sort of on my PS4 practically all day, every day, sleeping. Yeah, it was like a mix between sleeping and just being on the PS4 or sleeping.
I played on the Wii. Yeah. That's what I
the Wii.
did,
Classic.
But yeah, it just got to the point because obviously it was the end of March.
Yeah.
And by sort of June, every day was the same.
Yeah.
So I did start like doing some baking and cooking.
Oh yes. Yeah.
That was a lot. I mean, like in the shops, like we said earlier, the flour was just all the baking stuff.
God. Yeah, it was impossible. I had to actually go to like this, right, so in our town there's like this little back alley, and then down this little alley is this tiny little cafe. And because obviously they couldn't make their own bread because they had no customers, they were basically selling their flour. And that's the only way I got bread flour.
Yeah.
It's just nowhere else I could find it at all.
And toilet roll, again.
Oh, God.
The people panic buying, I think that was I think we all did it to an extent where we got like tinned food and food that would maybe last longer just in case stuff started to run out and toilet roll. But in hindsight, there wasn't any need for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think it was actually probably one of the downsides of the pandemic, where I think the pandemic brought a lot of people together, but I think things like panic buying was quite sort of on the selfish side, and I think everybody was part of it. I think everyone at some point would have panic bought something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think if we'd all taken a step back and just actually perhaps shared it out. Not even shared, just I think we should have just, like in the war where we had like ration cards, obviously not to that extent, but like, we should have been, well, eventually they did bring it in where you could only buy a certain amount of things, but I think that should have been in straight away.
Fair enough. I mean, it's tricky because you can't stop people from buying things, but at the end of the day, you had the really selfish people who bought
loads, and it's like, really.
Do you know what's really funny? So the week or two before lockdown, my parents were on holiday in England. They were just going on a nice walking holiday, and in the shops they were selling hand sanitizer, and my parents sort of looked at it and went, "Oh, we'll be okay."
Yeah.
And then a few weeks later, my mum was like, "Oh, I wish I'd bought the hand sanitizer."
Yeah. And then, but that was another thing that annoyed me, because hand sanitizer, I don't know when they brought it in. I don't think it was straight away, but it was like at some point they brought in a rule where you could only buy one teeny tiny bottle of hand sanitizer, but for the whole family.
Yeah.
It's like, well, first of all, we were all in separate places at all the time.
Yeah.
Because, my two parents work and they had to go to work. There was no stopping that.
Yeah.
My brother was in school, well, until it went online, but he was at school for the start of it. And it's like, how are we supposed to split this one tiny teeny bottle across
and think of like families of like 6, that would be gone in 2 days.
Exactly. That was ridiculous. It's like, it's not panic buying when you're buying a bottle per person. It should have been one bottle per person, not one bottle per family. It makes no sense.
Talking about your brother in school.
Oh God, yes.
And us in uni. And a lot of people's work, it all went online.
Oh gosh,
Now that was something very, I don't know, it's just not normal.
No, it was an odd concept.
Very odd.
But at the same time, I think technology was going that way. And I just think perhaps the pandemic pushed it forward.
Definitely. I mean, think about people who always go to different countries to do meetings. They now don't need to waste their money on flights. They can help conserve the globalness. Global warming.
What is it called? Yeah, global warming. That's
by not hopping on a plane.
Yeah, exactly.
Every few weeks, it can be done online, which is
definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal, and I mean, certainly for people like us who our courses are very practical based, very hands-on.
Yeah.
We needed to be in university, and it kind of sucked that we were taken out for a year and a half.
Yeah, basically, because I'm in a TV studio, you're in a recording studio. You can't do that online.
No, it's not possible.
After Easter, in the first lockdown, I basically didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Luckily this year, it was just after Christmas for until March that it was online, and it was just getting us ready for when we come back. But it just it wasn't. It's
not the same. It's not possible to deliver a decent sort of schoolwork or coursework online when your course is specifically practical based.
Yeah,
it's not what's the word, viable. That's the word.
Because you can do all this preparation, and then we got in and they were like, right, you have 3 weeks to record a whole TV show.
Yeah,
and it was just like we were rushing around, and you know, if we'd had more time it would have come out better, but
yeah, exactly.
Mad.
But yes, I basically turned my bedroom into my home recording studio. I was just lucky I had the equipment, really.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people didn't, and they've literally been recording sound, like actual what they're submitting for their exams on their phones.
Yeah,
it's like that's shocking.
Kind of similar with me. Some of the films we had to do them at home, and luckily I had a camera and all that. But people had to do them on their phones, and it came out fine. But I would have hated to do that. I had to use my mum as my actor, and my dad. He popped up, and so definitely. You know.
I mean,
it's mad what you had to like change to work.
Yeah, definitely. But it was just a bit crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I suppose leading on from that, jobs in general seem to be a bit of a target during this pandemic, really.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people were unfortunately let go.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, jobs for like students, specifically us, were near impossible to get. I mean, I know you didn't apply for too many, but I applied for almost about 30 different jobs.
Yeah.
And I actually only got one who called me back, and it was only for 2 hours on a Sunday. And it's like, that's not ideal, is it?
The reason I didn't apply for many is because I looked.
Yeah.
And there were none. The only sort of jobs there were in care, and I don't have any.
Yeah, no. And also, that's not like where our career's going. It wouldn't
and also
benefit
you need
us
to
in
have
any way.
certain qualifications, which obviously you didn't have.
Yeah, exactly.
That.
Or they wanted to train you, and it was like a 6-month training course. It's like, no, I don't have time to do that.
Or a builder.
Or a builder. Yeah, I saw a lot of like electrical technicians.
Yeah, labouring type.
Yeah, labour jobs.
Which just was not.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'd love to go and ride a forklift.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't have a qualification to do so.
Exactly, and couldn't get one because pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. But I suppose with all that free time, it freed up people to sort of volunteer their time and step up to do other things, I suppose.
I mean, there was a lot of like retired healthcare workers who then came back to help when the hospitals got all overrun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which was absolutely lovely to see. Yeah. I mean, I talked about earlier about how there were the negatives of the pandemic. I suppose this was sort of more of a positive in terms of
came together.
People came together. They banded together. They sort of realised that we were all in it together.
Yeah.
And you know, decided to do something about it.
Which was
which was lovely to see.
The job I did manage to find was actually making COVID tests.
Yeah.
So I was considered a essential worker.
Oh, she's posh. She is.
No, it was to be fair, when I applied for it, because it was just on a job site, I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this, but you know, it's a job. And turns out that they advertised it in the sixth form at school.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So I knew quite a lot of people from year 13.
Doing it, yeah.
Yeah, who we knew. So it was actually, I mean, it started off as quite a new thing. Like, no one really knew what they were doing.
No, yeah.
Because it basically started as a HIV testing place, and then they changed the test into COVID. Yeah.
That's quite cool, actually, yeah.
Yeah, so did that for summer, and it was enjoyable, hard work, enjoyable. And then Christmas came, and they needed help. Back, and then I only planned to stay for a few weeks, and then obviously we couldn't go back to uni, so stayed. But unfortunately, I mean, in a way it's probably good for the company, but they had so much demand.
Yeah, high demand for the test,
and it was, you know, it was very stressful.
That was mid peak of the pandemic, wasn't it? For us in the UK. Yeah, that was. I mean, Christmas was the deaths were awful, and the R rate was just terrible. So.
Yeah, and it was very stressful for the whole company. But
definitely.
It, again, sort of people came and they stepped up and they did something they would never have thought. Like, I never could imagine myself in a lab.
Exactly, and I bet there were lots of people that actually had proper jobs, but they'd been let go.
Well, and there was a guy who was a pilot, and he had to basically. They said to him, we're kind of letting you go, but only for a year, so hopefully you can come back.
Right, okay.
So then he started working there.
Yeah, see?
So
people stepping up.
Yeah.
Well, just people finding jobs that they never would have found themselves in before, I guess. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I suppose the one thing we should probably mention is about people stepping up is Sir Tom Moore.
Yeah.
And raising 32.8 million pounds for the NHS. Just incredible, really.
What a national hero.
Yeah, national treasure, really.
Treasure, yeah.
Basically, it's a shame that unfortunately he did die, but
of COVID.
I
mean, the irony in that.
It was gonna take him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to see that. Yes, we did have some negatives, and the whole year and a half has been a negative, really. But there have been some positives.
You know, and going back to Captain Tom Moore, Sir Tom Moore, I think he got the Sir.
Yeah, he did get the Sir. Yeah.
You know, he was an inspiration to a lot of people. If a 100-year-old man can do what he did.
Well, was he 100 or was he 99? Wasn't he?
Yeah,
and he didn't get to his 100th.
Oh yeah.
Or wasn't it like 2 months away? Or maybe he did. I don't know. I can't remember.
A 99/100-year-old man doing what he did, you know, it gave a lot of people that boost that they needed. Definitely. You know, in a pandemic, they thought, right, okay, instead of feeling sorry for myself and sitting on the sofa, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do something.
Yeah, and it also showed the generosity of people. Yeah. I mean, he's one man doing it, but without everybody else who donated, you know, it wouldn't have been as big as it was. And it was just amazing to see that generosity throughout the country.
Yeah, and speaking of that, like the clapping for the NHS.
Oh, that was lovely. That was really lovely.
The first time that happened, like, you know.
Yeah, Thursday afternoon. Well, Thursday
evening.
It was 8 o'clock. I thought it was 8 o'clock.
It might have been 8 o'clock. Yeah, I think
I can't remember. No. It's too long ago
too
now.
Far back.
But yeah, that was lovely as well. That was another what's it called?
Like a time where people came together, and I think it helped because you see everyone on the street, and you know that everyone's going through what you're going through.
Yeah, exactly. The same lockdown, same pandemic, same troubles and whatnot. So yeah, it was lovely to see, really.
But yeah. So you've had your first dose of the vaccine?
Yes, I got it 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
So yes, I'm almost caught up with you. I'm halfway to what you are. Yeah. You've been double vaccinated.
Double bubbled, as my dad says.
Very very double bubble. I like that. Very very lucky to have been offered that early.
February was my first one. Yeah. I was standing in line with all the oldies.
They were just like, oh hi, what are you doing here?
I'm like, I don't know. No. But I mean, you know, it's quite good because obviously I have asthma, and so it's very comforting knowing that you're in some way protected. Definitely. Definitely. But I think we should talk about, you know, because people are very negative. So there's a small number of people who are very negative about the vaccine.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, I mean,
everyone's free to their own opinion, obviously, and we're not trying to convince or persuade anyone of anything.
No.
But at the same time,
I think a lot of people, I mean, fair enough, they're worried that it's been done in a quick amount, in such a short space.
Yeah, there's no long-term effects that have been recorded because... You know.
But on the other hand, it's sort of been made and developed from vaccines that have been approved.
Exactly.
And, I mean, go and get vaccinated.
Go and get vaccinated. Yeah, I mean, I was quite hesitant at first. I remember talking to you about it because I was like, well, actually, do we know what it's about? But actually doing some research, I think this is the thing. You have to research it, and you have to actually almost not convince yourself, but actually find the proof to convince yourself, you know, that it's actually all right. Because at the end, well, I'm saying all right. As far as we know, it's all right. Because... as you said, it's come from previous vaccines, specifically previous flu vaccines.
Flu vaccines,
you know. So, and it's not like we haven't seen some form of, not so much coronavirus, but some form of flu virus before. It's not like it's a completely new concept at all.
Well, I mean, all flus and all colds are some form of coronavirus.
Yeah, exactly.
This strain is unfortunately very bad.
Yeah, it's it's more harsh.
Yeah. But, you know, I think people can read on social media a lot of bad things because people do spurt out nonsense. Yeah,
I think if you're going to genuinely argue the vaccine. You should find your facts.
You should.
And find correct facts.
Yeah,
because if you don't actually know for sure that, you know, it's dangerous or that it's this or it's that, then you shouldn't be spreading that on social media.
Because people, they're worried anyway, and if they see that,
it's gonna make them freak out even more.
Yeah, so
and, you know,
there's no need for it really.
No, there's not.
I think people keep your opinion in the nicest way possible. Keep it to
yourself. Yeah.
And if you're worried, I think definitely, you know, do research, because it's out there and it says all the good things, and it says if someone said, oh, it might do this, they've actually said, well, no, it doesn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and if you are like on the fence about it, I think the best advice is to get in touch with either an NHS worker or your local GP, because they're the ones that are going to know pretty much everything there is to know about it, because they're the ones on the front lines at the moment administering it.
Administering.
Oh, that's the word.
Administrating.
That's paperwork, isn't it?
Administering
it.
Yeah. COVID helpline, I think it's 119.
Is it? I don't actually know.
But
that's for the UK, obviously. Don't ring that number if you're outside.
Outside, yeah.
You'll probably get some random guy.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
But yeah, I mean, we've both had ours. Well, 2 and 1. We're fine.
Yeah, I mean, not really had any side effects either, to be honest. Like, as in short-term side effects, like, because they always say, oh, you might feel a little bit dodgy afterwards.
I mean, because I had the AstraZeneca one first, and I felt a bit limpy for a few days. But
sore,
you know,
and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas I literally had no symptoms whatsoever. So, but yeah, basically.
But yeah,
if you're worried, do some research.
Do some research, and you will realise that there's nothing to worry about. It's a very good thing, and it's, you know, calming down. I mean, the death rates have calmed down a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about saving people's lives at the end of the day. And if that is through vaccinating everybody, then that's how we're going to do it. And that's the harsh reality of it, really.
So, let's beat this thing.
Yeah, get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated. The show's over just as quickly as COVID came and ruined our lives.
It honestly needs to off right now.
Yeah. But we'd love to hear some of your guys' COVID stories, whether that's isolation stories, experience having it, or even just what you did to keep yourself busy during lockdown.
Yeah, that's right. And you never know, if we like any of them, we might post them on our socials.
Yeah, we will. So make sure you are following us at Pip and Izzy on all our social medias.
Yep, and we will be releasing next episode on a Thursday on YouTube, Spotify, I always forget Apple Podcasts,
and anywhere else.
Anywhere else we deem necessary, essentially.
So, stay safe, and see you next week.
Bye.